It's time to get on the right path with Right Path Real Estate Radio with Jason Biden. Get the answer to your question that's keeping you from taking action and succeeding today. Get ready. The guy that will put your fears behind you is on the air now. Taking calls at 713-785-1817. Toll free 877-881-0271. Now here's your host, Jason Bible.
Hot mics.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate. Beautiful day here in Houston, Texas. It hasn't gotten hot yet. I got that in the back of my mind. I'm like, when does it get to be 100 degrees? But gorgeous day here in H-Town. I had a choice today for two different topics, and I think I'm going to wait for Monday to do the other topic. Today, we're going to talk about skills, not an accident. Skills, not an accident. Last night, we had our base camp meeting. That is our mastermind group in Right Path. And someone made they asked an excellent question. They said, hey, Jason, how do I get better at the numbers close? That's how we buy houses. We use something called the numbers close. We use no other closing techniques. If you go to any other real estate guru across the country, they'll tell you there's 15 different closes and 75 different ways to buy a house, and I've got the super secret. There's no secrets in this business. It's really not that tough. Question I always ask somebody when I tell them we have one way that we present an offer to buy a house, whether it's a real estate agent, a wholesaler, a homeowner, a friend, a colleague, an employee, an employer. We have one close. And whenever somebody says, Jason, what do you mean you only have one close? And I'll say this, is it easier to master one skill or 70? And someone, of course, the answer is, well, it's a lot easier to master one skill than multiple skills. Exactly. That's why we have one closing technique. And it's worked now for 500 houses. So I don't think we really need to add any more closing techniques to our sales process. However, somebody asked a question last night, hey, Jason, how do we get better at the numbers close? And I went through a couple of scenarios how they can get better at presenting offers. That's really what the numbers close is, presenting an offer to someone that has a property for sale. And I said, here's what you have to realize. It's going to be awkward the first couple of times you do it. But here's what I know. The more you do it, the better you get at it, the more you like it. Let me say that again. The more you do it, the better you get at it, the more you like it. The more you do it, the better you get at it, the more you like it. When you get into real estate investing, and it is a skill, this is a skill. And it is 100% transferable, meaning I can teach people this skill. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to go to an Ivy League school. Heck, you can be a high school dropout and you can be successful in real estate. Now, you can't be a high school dropout and be a successful neurosurgeon. Sorry, need a little more schooling. Need a little more education. But in real estate investing, the skill is 100% transferable. 100%. For those of you out there that are would-be investors, brand new investors, maybe you've been investors for a couple of years and have not bought the number of houses that you've wanted to buy or reached your goals yet, it's not because you're not smart. It's not because you're not working hard enough. It's because you don't have the skill set yet. And I will tell you this right now, that skill set is 100% transferable. You can absolutely be as good as somebody like us at buying houses and being a real estate investor. There's no reason why you can't be as successful. Skills, not an accident. I was reminded of this yesterday. We're working with an estate right now. We had an initial meeting with them last night. The executive of the estate came by the office, and I just ducked into my office. My office is really a gigantic conference room, so a lot of times my office ends up as kind of the place where people land when we have meetings. And I just ducked in at the tail end of the meeting, and there was a conversation about this estate they're having to unwind. And it's incredibly complicated. And I joked with the executive of the estate. I said, "You're going to end up with a PhD in real estate by the time this is over." And she laughed, and she goes, "I feel like I've already got my master's and my baccalaureate in this." She knew nothing, when she first started this thing. She said, "Look, I've talked to some other real estate investors around town, and they just want cash for houses, but this is a lot more complicated than that." I said, "Yep, this is way more complicated." And where we were 5 years ago versus where we are now and the skill set we've got now, we can help her with this estate issue. Real estate attorneys, all the real estate investors in town that this executor has met with cannot help. And I can tell you, we learned that. It was a skill. Fixing these title issues, fixing this estate is a skill set. But I'll tell you this, acquiring those skills was not an accident. Absolutely was not. I was thinking on the way to the office this morning how much money we've spent in different companies. I spent almost $1 million last year in stuff that didn't work in RightPath. Think about that for a minute. $1 million. I had a buddy of mine one time that asked me, he goes, "Hey man, I know you're a car guy. You're a car guy. I know you like those Corvettes. Why haven't you bought a Vet yet?" And I tell him, because I'm spending about a Vet payment, or not a Vet, and a Corvette a month in this company here. And I'm spending another Corvette a month in that company over there. Really can't swing the Corvette right now. At one point, I was spending, we spent $1 million in RightPath the year before. We were spending about $50,000 a month in another company with stuff that didn't really pan out. But that's the nature of building a skill set. Now, you don't have to do that to buy some single-family homes to build your wealth and income. But we're trying to build something much more grand that hasn't been done before. So there's going to be a bit of trial and error. There's going to be a lot of money that gets invested in certain things that don't pan out. But here's what I'll tell you. That skill set is 100% transferable. The stuff that we learn, and I don't like to think that money we spent on things that didn't work out was completely wasted. In fact, the exact opposite. We learned a lot of things that most people will never encounter in their investing career, which makes us uniquely qualified to train folks on how to do real estate. It really does. This issue with this individual's estate, we will get that sorted out. I am 100% confident we will get it sorted out. There is no better company to work with, not just in Houston, in the entire United States. Nobody as advanced as us. I mean, essentially, we have a title company in our office, and we're investors. Now, I use that term, we have the ability to unwind some of these title issues, solve some of these title issues, just like a title company would. In fact, we work in concert with a title company to do that. However, the skill set didn't happen on accident. It was a lot of time, a lot of money, bringing in the right people, bringing in some people we thought were the right people and turned out they were not the right people. But it's a skill set. And I'll tell you, you can learn these skills just like anybody else can. You can absolutely learn these skills, but it's not an accident. So I want to go over a couple announcements real quick today. Our Passive Investor Network, the PIN. Ryan around the office is joking. He's calling them the Pin Pals, which I think is kind of cool. So our PIN group, our Passive Investor Network meeting is tonight for those of you who are members of our PIN group. I'm going to do a short presentation. Ryan's going to do one as well. And then tomorrow is our house buying tour. It's our first bus tour where we're going to go out and buy some houses with our PIN group. So if you are in our PIN group, you've got to be at that meeting tonight if you want to buy some houses tomorrow. So shoot an email to Veronica, support at Right Path Real Estate, and she can get you the info for that event this evening. And again, that's only for our folks that are in our PIN membership, our Passive Investor Network. We're going to take a short break here. And I'm going to get into this book. This is probably one of the most profound investing books I have read. And a buddy of mine, Daniel, got it for me for my birthday. It is The Intelligent Investor, written by Benjamin Graham. If you guys don't know who Ben Graham is, he was the mentor to Warren Buffett. So, and I love reading. I'll tell you this right now. I love reading these original editions because it's so much better than these revised editions that come out 30, 40 years later. So we're going to talk more about this book when we get back from the break, and we're going to talk about what passive investing meant to Benjamin Graham. This is Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate.
Mike's on.
Hi, Clint Coons.
Morning, Daniel.
Attorney and avid real estate investor. You know the greatest
raining in
real estate
DFW, huh?
investors make is not understanding the potential liability that exists from owning real estate. At Anderson Business, Legal, and Tax Advisors, we specialize in protecting real estate investors.
Oh, Erica, next time I see you guys, you got to tell me how to pronounce your maiden name.
We provide
That's
guidance so you
Dagerpont?
available under the law. We have 150 employees that range from lawyers to CPAs
That's pretty
to
cool.
estate planners and much more. Download our free ebook, The Invisible Investor Strategy, today at AndersonAdvisors.com or call for a free risk reduction analysis and financial blueprint at 800-706-4741. Anderson Business Advisors will help you keep more of what you earn. Call us today at 800-706-4741 and mention Right Path Real Estate.
You found or inherited a great investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much it's worth, or more importantly, what to do to maximize your investment while mitigating risk. This is exactly why we started Next Gen Appraisals. Next Gen is a group of appraisers specializing in investment real estate. We understand that investors aren't just looking for a number of what their property is worth, but a comprehensive analysis of the market. Give Next Gen a call at 713-346-9911 or check us out online at nextgenappraisals.com.
Are small returns getting in the way of your retirement plans? Why settle for mediocre results? There's a better place to invest. The experts agree. Single-family real estate is one of the best investments you can make. Find out how JB Fund Services offers a 9% preferred return and up to a 13% waterfall. Call us today at 281-915-0906 or visit our website, jbfundservices.com. That's 281-915-0906. This investment is offered to accredited investors.
Do you have cracks in your brick, doors that stick, or sheetrock that's coming apart? Then you may have foundation movement. Due to our expansive soils in the Houston area, it's probably not a question of if you have movement, but when. Call Foundation Check for a truly independent, unbiased foundation evaluation. Foundation Check has been in business since 2009 and has completed over 1,400 evaluations. We're not in the business of repairing foundations or selling you unnecessary peer work, but we are in the business of evaluating your foundation. Our product is designed for house flippers, landlords, or even owner-occupied properties. Each of our files is reviewed by a licensed engineer. Remember to check before every repair. Call 346-702-3825. That's 346-702-3825. Or you can reach us online at foundationcheck.com. That's foundationcheck.com.
Did you know that there are over
One
$24
minute.
trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S.? Imagine if you could use someone's IRA to fund all of your deals. Well, you can. Quest IRA is based locally here in Houston, Texas. At Quest IRA, we offer retirement accounts that can be used to invest in real estate, promissory notes, private entities, and much more. Many of our clients loan money from their IRAs to fund real estate deals all over the country. We don't sell any investments or give advice. However, we do hold free networking events, weekly educational classes, and free consultations with an IRA specialist. For more information, visit our website at questira.com or call us at 1-855-FUN-IRAs. To tap into the $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S., call Quest IRA at 1-855-FUN-IRAs or go to our website, questira.com.
This is Business 1110.
All right, Jay, you ready?
Yep.
All right, hot mics.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate. Again, those of you on our Passive Investor Network, got a meeting tonight. And to be perfectly honest with you, I have no idea what time it is. So just shoot an email to Veronica if you guys need the info. Support at rightpathrealestate.com. It's going to be a good event. Ryan and I are doing a quick presentation. Then you guys are going to go out and buy some properties tomorrow. So while I'm riding the bike, you guys are going to be building your wealth. So y'all have fun with that tomorrow. All right. Today, I want to talk about investing as a skill set. And I've got a book here, The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. This is the 1959 edition. And I'll tell you right now, I learned this a couple of years ago. I read Think and Grow Rich probably 6 years ago now, 7 years ago. Really great book and spooky the first time you read it. I'll tell you that. If you've never read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, it is a spooky book the first time you read it. When he starts talking about the infinite intelligence and all that other stuff, you're like, what kind of metaphysical California nonsense that I get into? And then, of course, you realize the book was written in the 30s. So, but here's what I recommend. I never want to read a revised edition that the original author did not write. So all of these Think and Grow Rich books that are, the revised 2010 version and the 2012 version, put all that stuff in the garbage. What you need to read is the original text that he wrote. Now, if the author goes back and makes some revisions, read that as well, because that's just as good. This book is actually a revised edition, but Ben Graham wrote it, which is the original author, which I think is great, because you want the original. I want to know what the author originally thought. And unfortunately, when an author passes away and it's a really popular book, then you get all these clowns that are rewriting his work. And it just doesn't sound right. I'll tell you, if you've read Think and Grow Rich and have not read the original version from Napoleon Hill, it will read completely differently. It's almost like you read the book and you're like, well, this is completely different than the first one I ever read. So read the original one from the original author. I'm going to read just a paragraph out of this today, some great quotes. Because I can tell you, this book right now is already making changes for us in Right Path. And this book is over 60 years old. Guys, I want to let's get real basic here. The things that we teach in Right Path from an investing standpoint have been the same things that our great-great-great-grandparents have been, that were taught about money and how they manage their money. The stuff that's happened the last 20 or 30 years has really messed up the world of investment advice. It really has. The financialization of just about everything that's happened over the last 2 or 3 decades has ruined sound financial advice. So what makes these books so much fun is you can go back a handful of generations, a generation or two, and read this stuff and you go, man, this makes so much more sense than the nonsense I see now. Now, that is absolutely true. Where Right Path, where you run into Right Path, is that we're taking the things that your grandparents and great-grandparents taught you about money and investing, and we're attenuating that to the current real estate environment. Now, what does that mean, to attenuate? You guys ever have one of those prisms when you were a kid? You take a prism, you know, the little clear plastic thing that you get with like a kid's science kit. If you take that prism and shine a light through a prism will attenuate the light and take that clear, visible light and break it into the spectrum of colors in that light. If you don't understand the scientific concept, just YouTube it or Google it. That's really what we do in Right Path. We talk about investing. Now, I will tell you, I'm not one of these guys that's going to get on the radio and tell you should not invest in stuff in Wall Street. If you're a corporate guy or gal and your company does a corporate match, absolutely invest up to that corporate match. It's free money. It's absolutely free money. If you want to put more money in, fine. However, you got to have some real estate in that portfolio. Now, it may not be 100 houses. You may buy 2 or 3 a year. However, what we do at Right Path is we take that light and we run it through the prism of stuff like the works of Benjamin Graham. And we show you all the different colors in that light. And one of those colors is real estate. That's really what we do here. When you get down to it from a very high level standpoint, that's really what we're doing. Should you own some precious metals? Absolutely. I mean, you want to get real doomsday. Should you own some guns and some bullets and alcohol and extra food at the house? Absolutely. But when you start investing, you've got to step back to the classics. We call it the fundamentals. How many of y'all out there played sports? The guys that were always the best on the field were the ones that mastered the fundamentals. And this right here is the fundamentals. The fundamentals are not Bitcoin and all that nonsense. This right here is the fundamentals. And sometimes we get so far removed from the classics that we think we're smart by half. Or we major in stuff that doesn't matter. Major in the minors. It's the classics that matter. It's time-tested investment advice. So I'm going to read a quick little excerpt here. The present book is primarily directed toward 2 kinds of investors, the defensive and the enterprising. This is profound. I have tried to explain this for the last 2 years in Right Path, and in that one sentence, he encapsulates what we actually teach. I'm going to read it again. This book is primarily directed toward 2 kinds of investors, meaning there's 2 kinds of real estate investors out there, guys. The defensive and the enterprising. Let me define those for a second. The defensive investor, this is the language we use for it in 2018. That's the language he was using in 1959. Let me use the 2018 language. The defensive investor is the passive investor. That's what that means. The defensive investor is the passive investor. Who is the enterprising investor? Simple. It's the active real estate investor who is a business owner, meaning they're going to build a real estate business by flipping and wholesaling. The defensive investor, who is a passive investor, is the investor who is going to be lending and building a rental portfolio. Let me tell you guys, let me break this down for you real simple. If you're a passive investor, what are you building? You're building a portfolio. If you're an enterprise investor, what are you building? You're building a business. I've explained this on stage for almost 3 years now. I start out our weekend retreat. Hey guys, there's 2 seminars going on in this room. One is for those of you who want to be a business owner, and the other is for those of you who want to be passive in this business. And there's a big difference between those two. In fact, for those of you who are passive, and that's really why I started reading this book, there is a great description of the passive investor in here. The passive investor is to conserve their capital, avoid serious mistakes of commission, obtain a reasonable income return, and protect themselves to some extent against inflation. Is that incredible or what? That one sentence encapsulates what the passive investor's goal is. I'm going to read that again. The passive investor, their goal is to conserve capital, avoid serious mistakes, obtain a reasonable income return, and protect themselves against inflation.
2 minutes.
Those of you who are going to be in our PIN group, that is your goal. And that's not coming from Jason Bible. That comes from the guy that taught Warren Buffett how to be Warren Buffett. Those 3 things are your goal. Reasonable amount of return, not making big mistakes. I should say 4 things. Not making huge mistakes, preserving capital, and hedging against inflation. That's it. Now, when you start to dip your toe over to the enterprise side, that's where it gets a little more complicated. The enterprise investor is to take advantage of the many and recurrent opportunities to purchase assets at well under their fair value or intrinsic value as determined by competent analysis. That's very... Now, you guys heard those 2 different definitions, those 2 types of investors. One investor is out there just pounding the pavement, looking for opportunities, running analysis all the time to buy stuff at fair market or below market value or intrinsic value. The passive investor has those 4 other goals: reasonable amount of return, not making big mistakes, hedging against inflation. Let's see, what was the other one? Hedging against inflation. Oh, and preserving their capital. That's an entirely different goal set than the folks that are in this business, if you will, full time. We get back from the break. I'm going to read one more little excerpt from this book. We're going to talk more about how investing is a skill set, and that skill set doesn't come by accident. It's Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate.
Mike's off.
Time is money in a real estate deal. If your insurance company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes or binders?
Ooh.
The agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. We're here for you. Are you a rehabber, wholesaler, buy and hold, or flipper? Bundling your
For you boys that got a couple of bucks hanging around in your pockets, there's a Copo Corvette on Bring a Trailer.
Contact Benchmark about our exclusive
That is pretty sweet. It's already up to 58 grand.
Let us show you what we can do for
Oh,
you.
this is cool.
281-569-4353. That's
So Chevy, for those of you who don't know what a Copo is, Chevy used to have an office where you could essentially custom order whatever you want. Certain dealerships were able to, I mean, you wanted blue seats and, you know, green roof, they do it. It was pretty cool. This is a Copo Vet.
On time and with lots of communication on your home purchase, you've come to the
They're
right
all kind of a
I'm
little
Jennifer
funky.
Hernandez, senior loan officer with
Tim Allen's got a
Home
really neat
Mortgage.
Copo
Our goal
Camaro.
is to give our borrowers and referral partners an amazing experience during the loan process. My team believes in putting people and culture before results. Our company concentrates on building those teams who operate with structure, process,
That's
and
pretty cool.
recognition for going the extra mile for you. This way, we have the energy to make
I need to
this
see
your
what happened to the
best home
van.
purchase
That
ever.
auction should have.
Give
There
us
it
a call
is.
today to find out the simple steps to get started.
Ooh,
I'm
it's up to
Jennifer
12.5.
Hernandez, the Hernandez team at Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Jennifer.legacymutual.com or call 713.
If you guys are car guys, Bring a Trailer is so cool.
3611. Again, Jennifer.legacymutual.com. We can't wait to consult with you soon. NMLS
It's just some neat cars in here.
514497.
Equal Housing Opportunity Lender. NMLS 514497.
Hello, real estate investors. Do you need a lender that moves fast at the speed of a jet to fund your investment property? Jet Lending will help you purchase properties quickly with as little cash out of pocket as possible. Jet Lending also sets up a repair escrow fund to help you with repair costs. Jet Lending has originated over 2,000 loans in Texas, valued at over $250 million. Jet Lending will help you evaluate your deals for free and give you feedback on value, cost of repairs, and potential loan amount. Jet Lending is your fast and friendly hard money source for first-time investors and seasoned professionals. Call 281-872-7800 or email us at info@jetlending.com. Oh, and don't forget about our famous Third Wednesday Super Investor Networking Meeting. Lots of fun, lots of great real estate talk. We'll see you there.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment
All right,
property?
1 minute.
Then
Okay.
call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Un minuto, por
Fast Track
favor.
Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832.
Hey, I'd love to see if anybody can find an original copy of Rich Dad Poor Dad. It was self-published.
This is business.
So I wonder who's got an original copy out there.
All right, here we go. Hot mics.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate. Going through a portion of Ben Graham's book, The Intelligent Investor. This is the 1959 version of it. Fantastic book. I will one day buy his book, the first edition, first printing of Security Analysis. It runs about $15,000. I just can't. I bought cars. We bought houses less than that. I'm sure it's a great book, but if you guys come into my office sometime, my desk. So I've got a conference table that seats, I don't know, 10 maybe, 8 or 10, something like that. Right behind the conference table, I've got this really neat desk that we had refinished. It was a mid-century modern desk. I bought it from the son of the original owner. He was a real estate attorney here in Houston. His son owns a coatings company. And they had used the desk for years and years and years. I mean, it was rough. It was pretty beat up. And I sent it to a company here in town. They completely refinished it. It is absolutely gorgeous. And so that's the desk I've got. And if you're sitting at my desk to the right, I've got you guys know I'm a big mid-century modern guy. I've got a mid-century modern bookshelf. It's really neat. It's got these glass shelves on it. Anyway, so I put first editions in that bookcase, and they're only business books. That's the only thing I really collect. I mean, I read some fiction every now and then. I got a couple books that I like. I've read a couple of series, but I'm a big fan of the nonfiction investment and business books. And the ones that I really like, I will order in first edition hardbacks and put in that library. And I'll tell you what, the library doesn't grow very much. I'll just tell you that right now. I read a ton of books. Most of them, to be quite honest with you, are just a rehash of somebody else's work. And in any case, so if someone ever comes to me and says, Jason, what are the books that I need to read? You could literally read these dozen books. I might have 12 in there now these dozen books on business and real estate, investing and finance, and you would have and if you really understood all the concepts in those books, you would have a mastery over a number of subjects without having to spend the time to read 100 different books. I mean, they are that good. It is these are the best books. Everything else is a distant second. And so this is one of those that goes in that bookcase, if you will. And so if you're ever in the office and you want to know what to read, just pull out your phone and take a screenshot or take a picture of my bookshelf there next to the desk, because I guarantee you those are all the best books. There's not a bad one in there. They're all good. In fact, I haven't talked about this much. I have 4 design books in there. So for those of you who are graphic designers, best guy on the planet. And the reason I've got design books in there is because really what we do is we provide education to those making decisions. When you sit down with a seller, that's all you're really doing with a seller. Hey, seller, you can keep this house. Hey, real estate agent, you can take these other offers. Mine is the one that actually is going to close. But what you're really doing is you're educating them on the process. You're giving them enough information for them to make a decision. And so graphic design is a part of that. And I've got a lot of Edward Tufte's books in there if you've ever read Dr. Tufte before. So in any case, let's go back into Ben Graham's book here. And one of the things that you've got to realize with the stock market crowd, this has been proven for decades. For quite honestly, for almost a century at this point. A little over a century. And that is, your money managers are no smarter than a monkey throwing darts and picking stocks. The Wall Street Journal used to run this test every year where they would put the Wall Street Journal, the stock page, it has all the ticker symbols up on a whiteboard or up on a corkboard. And then the guys would sit back at the end of the room and throw darts at it. And they'd build a portfolio by throwing darts at the newspaper. What's amazing is their performance was very similar to, quote, the smartest minds in real estate, or the smartest minds in Wall Street investing. Most of these guys who are allegedly the smartest guys in the room, very rarely, like less than 50% of the time, ever match the performance of an index like the S&P or the Dow. It's amazing. These guys get paid millions and millions of dollars. And very rarely do they ever beat the index. Now, what's amazing is I'm about to read you a quote. This was from 1959. And Ben knew that back in 59. Yet we keep hiring these investment advisors to run our investments for us. They don't know anything. They're no better than a couple of dudes at a happy hour, 3 beers in, picking stocks using a dartboard. Think about that. That's like the biggest con going, isn't it? You mean you're no better than if I were to just put the ticker symbols on a dartboard that I can't even see from where I'm standing? We're just going to throw darts at these things? You're just as good as that? The art of investment has one characteristic that is not generally appreciated. A credible, if unspectacular result can be achieved by the lay investor with a minimum effort and capability. But to improve this easily attainable standard requires much application and more than a trace of wisdom. If you merely try to bring just a little extra knowledge and cleverness to bear upon your investment program, instead of realizing a little better than normal results, you may well find that you've done worse. Let me tell you what this translates to. I hear this from real estate investors all the time. Jason, Edo is so hot right now. I'm going to go in and I'm going to buy all this stuff and I'm going to get all these outsized rates of return. Or I'm going to go into the Heights. I'm going to go into this area of town and that area of town. Or my favorite question, a lot of times they'll say it in a question, Jason, what's the hottest market to be in? Where's the next trend? And I'm like, you don't have to do that, man. You don't. There's a real estate guru in town that teaches this to his, quote, VIP clients. I'm going to give you the secret formula to find deals where the next up-and-coming neighborhood is. And the problem is, like what Ben Graham said in 1959, you start to add that level of, quote, sophistication to your investment program, and you find out you start doing worse. I'll give you a great example of this. Our weekend retreats in the next couple of weeks, I think like May 18th. And I get this question at every single weekend retreat. Hey, Jason, what are the good neighborhoods to invest in? And I'll say, all right, guys, I'm going to tell you what those neighborhoods are. I haven't told anybody else this, so I need you guys to keep this to yourself because I don't want y'all to ruin the secret, okay? And everyone starts looking around like, oh, my gosh, everybody kind of starts freaking out like, oh, he's going to tell us this big secret. I go, okay, shh. Okay, don't tell anybody, all right? This is just going to be our little secret with us 50 people in the room. It's all going to be a little secret. All right, shh, don't tell anybody else. The neighborhoods that are the best to invest in are the neighborhoods that have been really great neighborhoods for the last 25 years. And everybody starts looking at me real confused. Like, what do you mean? Well, if there's a neighborhood, let's say in Sugar Land, or in Katy, or in Clear Lake, or in Atascocita, or in the Woodlands, or in Spring, that is 20 to 25 years old, and the schools have been great for 20 to 25 years, we can go back and we can look and see how much those houses have appreciated, and it will blow your mind.
2 minutes.
I'll give you a great example of this on the radio show. Y'all can go look it up. A little neighborhood in Sugar Land. South of Highway 6, south of 59. If you head east on Highway 6, there's a little neighborhood in Sugar Land right there near Missouri City. Houses are maybe 1,300 square feet. Those houses, 6-7 years ago, sold for $120,000. They're now over $200,000. Why? Because they're zoned to really great schools that have been great for 25 years. If you try to push the envelope, and that was what Ben Graham's quote was all about. If you try to be smart by half, you think you're going to trick the market, or you think you're smarter than the market will slap you down so hard it'll make your head spin, and it's going to take a lot of money from you. You are not smarter in that market. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how many PhDs you got. I don't care where you went to graduate school. I don't care who your parents are. You are not smarter in the market. I can tell the difference between a successful and a unsuccessful real estate investor just based off this principle alone. This is the classic tortoise and the hare. The tortoise will always win because they're consistent. Hey, there's a reason Warren Buffett has all this cash right now and Apple has all this cash, and they're not investing in anything. Although Warren just bought some more Apple stock. We get back from the break. We're going to talk more about investment principles from Benjamin Graham's Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate.
Mike's off.
You found or inherited a great investment property.
Yeah, that's funny, Erica. Brian, see, Jason, I keep hearing from my agent that an investor cannot buy foreclosure properties. I haven't spent the time educating myself to this, but any insight you can share. Yeah, Brian, that's I don't know what she means by you can't buy any foreclosure properties. Like, you can't buy them because there's not that many on the market, or you can't buy them for some legal reason. And I can tell you that's absolutely not true. You can buy foreclosures. You can buy short sales as an investor. You can absolutely do that.
Real estate investors.
When am I going to write a book? Chad? Oh, Daniel. Yeah, we got a couple of, I got a couple of book ideas out there. I do. And I think this is going to be something I do in 2019. So I'm starting to get some of my time back as these businesses are starting to grow, and we're hiring more people, and we're really starting to figure out. And I don't mean like Houston House Buyers. I mean like Right Path Real Estate, one of our other companies. We're doing something on the RIA front. I'm not willing to talk about just yet, but I think 2019 will be that year when I can write a book. I got a couple of ideas. Chad, I'll sign the first edition for you, and I'll write in there, to my number one fan. That's what I'm going to do with everybody that wants me to sign a book. I'm just going to say my number one fan.
702-3825, or you can reach us online at foundationcheck.com.
Are you a realtor or seller that is concerned about the new
Yeah, Dean, I'll tell you what, the Sugarland RIA, it literally sold out in minutes. We've only got 60 seats. And I sent that email out, and it was literally, gone like that. I didn't expect that at all. So I'm going to send out a couple of more emails. It's for the new RIA that I'm building out in Sugarland. Here in the next couple of weeks, you guys will see a handful of emails about it. So, isn't there a certain time period where banks won't take an investor offer on a foreclosure? It depends. HUD homes are that way. First 2 weeks are owner occupants only, and then it's nonprofits and VA loans and that sort of thing are the second tier, and then the third one, typically like 30, 45 days. Then they will take investor offers. But here's what I'll tell you, Brian. That will be in the agent remarks, if not in the property description on MLS. So you'll know. Let me put it that way.
Jet Lending will help you purchase properties quickly with as little cash out of pocket as possible. Jet Lending also sets up a repair escrow fund to help you with repair costs. Jet Lending is your fast and friendly hard money source for first-time investors and seasoned professionals. Call 281-872-7800 or email us at info@jetlending.com.
Taxes. Just the sound of that word makes people cringe. At Anderson Advisors, we provide tax reduction through asset protection for real estate investors throughout the country. Our unique philosophy has CPAs, lawyers, bookkeepers, and estate planners with one common goal, helping you, the real estate investor. Check us out today at AndersonAdvisors.com, and don't forget to tell us you heard about us at Right Path Real Estate.
Are small returns getting in the way of your retirement plans? Why settle for mediocre results? There's a better place to invest. The experts agree, single-family real estate is one of the best investments you can make. Find out how JB Fund Services offers a 9% preferred return and up to a 13% waterfall. Call us today at 281-915-0906 or visit our website, jbfundservices.com. That's 281-915-0906. This investment is offered to accredited investors.
This is Business 1110.
All right, Jay, hot mics.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate. Speaking of Warren Buffett, he disclosed he bought a couple of shares of Apple Q1. It's an unbelievable company, Buffett told CNBC. If you look at Apple, I think it earns almost twice as much as the second most profitable company in the United States. I'm going to read that again. If you look at Apple, I think it earns almost twice as much as the second most profitable company in the United States. Absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. He increased his shares to 240.3 million shares worth roughly $43 billion. You know, there's always what people say and then what they do. I don't listen to what people say anymore because most of the time they're just blah, 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 blah. I watch what they do. What Warren Buffett says and what he does are two completely different things. I'll tell you that right now. They have Berkshire Hathaway and Apple both have a record amount of cash. And what are they doing? It's really fascinating. Apple is buying their shares back. And Berkshire Hathaway is buying Apple, and that's it. Warren Buffett can get out there and holler and scream about how stocks are at a great discount and you ought to be buying. But then when I look at the cash position of Berkshire Hathaway, like, if they're such a great deal, why ain't you buying, dude? Apple's another interesting one. The rumor on the street is they're going to repatriate about $248 billion in cash to the United States, which is great. We told everybody, remove this repatriation tax nonsense and the money's going to come back. And they're going to use it for stock purchases. All right, guys, quick announcement. May is the last weekend retreat we're going to do that's 3 days. And it's the last weekend retreat we're going to do for the bargain basement price of $197. Here's the deal. This isn't a sales technique. We're making some big changes starting in June in Right Path. If you want to see Tom and I for 3 days, starting May 18th, 19th, and 20th, where we talk about how we built our business and how we invest our money in real estate, now is the time to go to that class. It's $200 for the entire weekend. Here's what I'll tell you. If by the end of the day, Friday, you hadn't gotten $200 worth of value, come find Veronica during the event. She'll write you a check for your $197 and you can have the rest of the weekend off. If you want to go to this event, send an email to support@rightpathrealestate.com. Again, that's support@rightpathrealestate.com. Veronica can get you signed up. This will be the last month we do a 3-day event. The rest of them are going to be 2 days starting in June, and they're going to be a lot different too. So if y'all really want to see the show as we've been doing it for the last 2 years, send an email, support@rightpathrealestate. Tell Veronica you heard me talking about it on the radio show today. $197. Can't beat it. And it's a money-back guarantee. If you don't like it by Friday, we'll write you a $197 check. All right, thanks for listening, guys. I will be back Monday. Here's the topic for Monday: the best investment advice I've ever received. Best investment advice I've ever received. We'll talk about that Monday. Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate.
All right, Jay, have a good one.
All right, thanks.
You've been listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. Find Jason and Tom at rightpathrealestate.com.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers. If you owe the IRS